It's crazy than a motherfucker, man. Now, I'm just not watching this video, but I was telling my cousin, AD. I told you, man. I told you, bruh, who Burrow is close to, man. This is the closest thing to Brady, man, as far as his whole demeanor to the game, man. His approach to the game, the way he played, bruh. He plays like Brady, bruh. He got that poise like Brady. Just what Skip Bayless is about to say. Check him out.
The 2 seed at Arrowhead, where nobody gave them much of a shot.
Nope.
And came back from 21-3 down because the quarterbacks got that swagger, because they looked down the bench and said, well, we still got Joe.
Yeah.
So
I told you, they trying to find their next Tom Brady.
They don't give it away.
And that's it, right there.
And he is operating at a very high level. And we're going to hit this head on a bit later, but I told you Friday, to my eye, if in fact Tom Brady is gone, and we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes, okay, this is the closest thing I see to Brady. And I'm talking about in poise, in readability, in accuracy, in just overall command of the offense. You just speed read it and find the open and hit him right in the hands with the football, under pressure, under fire. But he's different than Brady. He will take sacks, although he didn't yesterday.
Right.
That the fact he took 9 sacks Tennessee, and his coordinator said what we love about him is he does not mind the physicality.
Right.
He got sacked 9 times at Tennessee and spent the bit no time.
Right.
Not one time was he strip sacked. Not one time. Right. And yesterday he threw a fairly late, early fourth quarter interception.
That might have been the worst play that he had all playoffs long. He had no business throwing that ball.
And I thought it was a little bit of a tug by Snead, just a little tug. But I'm not upset with that. But again, it was a little underarm. It's a little bit of impatience because they're not giving you Jamar, and all of a sudden they gave you single coverage on Jamar, and I got to get the ball outside to him, and he was slightly late and slightly short with it, and it got picked.
Right.
It did not crush them. It wasn't a game-losing type play.
No.
So now I look at this defense, and look at what this defense did in the second half to Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead, and I start saying, who are these guys? Well, I the tackles yesterday, I sort of go right down the list. Logan Wilson was their leading tackler yesterday with 10 tackles. He was a third-round pick in 2020. And then Sam Hubbard, you mentioned spying on Mahomes in the strip sack and looked like the game might be over. He was a third out of the Ohio State in 2018. Trey Hendrickson, we know he was a stud Saints, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was once upon a time a third-rounder back in 2017. Awuzie was my Cowboy, so he's one of the starting corners. He was a second-rounder in 2017. Apple was the 10th pick in the draft, a first-rounder in 2016. B.J. Hill, who tipped the interception to himself, he was a third-rounder in 2018. Then we got Jesse Bates, who tipped the ball away from Tyreek at the end for the interception to Von Bell. He was a second-rounder in 2018. Then Jermaine Pratt, the other linebacker, was really good yesterday. He's a third-rounder in 2019, and Von Bell was a second-rounder in 2016. My point is, they're loaded with fairly high picks. These are a bunch of seconds and thirds, really good, and they got them all. Right. And they're coming of age right before you're
they don't have a name. They don't have a Michael Parsons.
No.
They don't have a one of these elite, a Buda Baker at safety.
No.
They don't have a Jalen Ramsey or elite corners. But as you mentioned, you named 7, 8 guys that are third round or higher. So there's only 11 guys. So it's not like they're playing with some undrafted free agents, some street free agents. They're legit.
They're legit. That's the point. His security blanket had been his tight end, Uzama, and he got hurt early and caught no ball.
Right.
And that was the other amazing thing about yesterday is he didn't even have his tight end and pulled that off.
Right.
And instead he had to go to
T. Higgins.
And he started catching. How many balls did he catch?
Like 8.
Good, right?
He caught 6 for a buck 03.
He's at 103. So he said, okay, I'll go to him because he's tall. And
he dropped the touchdown early.
He did. There was one play early where I thought he was interfered with, where he got his hand pulled on him. But the point is that Uzama is saying he's got a sprained MCL but hopes to be able to play.
Right.
Well, we don't know what Tyler Higbee's status is because nobody's reported on it, but his looked just as bad, if not worse, some kind of knee injury.
Right.
But we don't
Bland
know
came in and did a great job.
I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, Skip, I've never seen, I don't know if you've ever seen it, I've never seen a flea flicker screen to the tight end.
No.
Normally,
I don't think it was primary on the play, but it worked.
I think normally when you flicker, Skip, you try to throw the ball over somebody's head, they flea flicker the ball to the tight end, just shows how desperate. Skip, let's go back to, you mentioned Cincinnati. You just think of the Bengals, the same old Bengals.